Hi again, this is Dave Litton from Projex Academy. Welcome back to Microsoft Project 365 for Scrum, Kanban and Hybrid Projects. Here we are in Module 3, and here we're going to deep dive looking at the Scrum roles and responsibilities. I'm talking about the Product Owner, the Scrum Master and the development team themselves. So let's get stuck in. Starting with the Product Owner. Now, this individual is known as the empowered central point of leadership, and they face two ways, so to speak. They're an integral part of the team, and they work very closely with the Scrum Master and the development team themselves, as well as looking outwards and indeed upwards at both internal stakeholders and external stakeholders such as customers and users. Some of the activities they get involved with are managing the economics of the whole project. After all, they do own the end product. However, they're part project manager because they certainly participate in planning, both at a high level and within sprint planning. Something I've mentioned already, they are responsible for grooming the product backlog, and they get involved with defining the acceptance criteria for each of the products and verify that they are indeed met. They collaborate closely and fully with the development team members themselves, as well as I've suggested, with other stakeholders, both internal and external. Let's unpack some of that then. The product owner is ultimately responsible for delivery of the product, and it is they who define the vision of what they want to build and convey it to the development team and to the rest of the organization. It is they, the product owner, who own the business and market requirements, and therefore prioritize all the work that needs to be done. How do they do that? By creating and managing that all-important prioritized product backlog. It is they who decide which features to ship and when to ship. In other words, by defining the product backlog and defining the features and user stories within it. Product owner works with the team and any other stakeholders to make sure everyone understands the items in the product backlog, so there is no confusion. And it is they who accept or reject the work completed in a sprint at the sprint review. After all, it is their product. Bringing us nicely to the Scrum Master. This individual helps everyone understand and embrace the Scrum values, principles and practices. They also provide coaching and leadership to the team, as well as doing that to the product owner. So their main role is as a coach, as I've suggested. They perform something called a servant leader. In other words, they're there to remove roadblocks for the team and ensure they have the focus they need. They're the authority for the process, and they act as an interference shield for other people distracting the team themselves. They play their part in removing impediments, problems or issues if you will, and they act as an agent for change. So the Scrum Master is the servant leader of the Scrum team, also working as a coach, helping to facilitate collaboration, remove impediments, enforce and safeguard the Scrum process, and as I've suggested, protecting the team. So their main responsibilities are to organise and facilitate the sprint rituals, if you will, and ensure that the product owner has a properly prioritised and groomed backlog. You see the way in which this works in partnership? The product owner owns the product backlog and owns its prioritisation. The Scrum Master will help ensure that that has been done correctly. And they ensure that the team isn't pressured to overcommit to a sprint. One of the tenets of Scrum, indeed, is that the team can work consistently at a level of which they're capable of. And the Scrum Master ensures that scope isn't added to a sprint after the sprint has started. And the Scrum Master also ensures that the definition of done, we looked at that previously if you remember, is adhered to. However, they do not assign tasks to team members, and they are not responsible for the delivery of the project. That's a very important distinction. Bringing us to the team members themselves, sometimes called the development team or specialist team. So the Scrum team is a self-organising, as you've learned, often cross-functional team, typically comprised of 5 to 7 team members. More than that, and the team gets unwieldy. Less than that, and you may not have sufficient knowledge, skill and experience, momentum, if you will, to carry out the sprints. And everyone on the project works together and helps each other. It really is in the spirit of self-management and self-empowerment. And members of the team are not bound to distinct roles such as architect, programmer, designer or tester. And as I've suggested, it's the whole team who completes the set of work together in a cohesive manner. So naturally enough, it's the Scrum team that plans how much work they complete within each sprint, and it's the Scrum team that owns the sprint plan. They may indeed have input from the Scrum Master and the product owner, but it is they who do the planning. Next up, we're going to be looking at what's known as the product roadmap, the product backlog, and looking at sprint planning. So thanks for your time and attention, and from me, Dave, let's meet up again on Module 4.